Okay, this is actually kind of an interesting question. One will ask is, when you're trying to make a tactic, do you need the player to be in the right role? Now, if you're asking me, let's talk about roles itself. I think there's certain positions that are much more powerful in terms of what their role will do. So, for example, an attacking wingback, plus plus variation. If you were to play a five back and they were to go up and down, you will notice this much more in contrast to maybe if you had, for example, a a playmaker plus plus as an example, right? This is a bit of a raw example. And I feel like inside forwards plus pluses, you can feel their difference. But I'll tell you something, as long as the player's in the right role, that is the most important thing. When I'm making my team, this is Diogo, the pro player's tactics. But I would much rather go poacher, maybe put one of the strikers on advanced forward. But I don't force the plus plus because my logic is as long as they're in the right role, they're going to be fine. If they're out of position, yeah, that is a big issue because then they're not going to move, they're not going to track back, and they just stand still, stand there. They do nothing. That is completely different. And of course, you don't want that. But as long as they're in the correct, even if they haven't got the role plus plus, it's not the end of the world. People are kind of going a bit OTT now. As at certain positions, you can find they work well, like left back and right backs. Now, if you're asking me for the back line, I use defender anyway. Left back and right back. If you do have a wing back or an attacking wing back, if you can get the plus plus, then go ahead. But let's say you have two players. One's got 90 sprint speed, and the other one's got 82 sprint speed, and one has plus plus with 82 sprint speed, and the other one just has a plus. I'm definitely going to lean towards a plus variation. So look, what I would say is to summarize, it's not that important as long as they're in the correct role. And if I gave you a plus plus and I told you, can you notice a difference? The average player is not going to notice any difference. Okay, I'll give you an example. Exhibit A, yeah? I mean, you mentioned not now between each one, between high and low, I make some. People say, oh, they notice a difference between 52 and 51 depth. Absolute nonsense. They have absolutely no idea what the difference is. Even I barely notice a difference, and I study this game all the time because it's my job. So you're trying to tell me that people are going to notice one depth difference? Absolutely not. When it's like a 10 depth difference, or even sometimes like if you go from like 62 to high to 57, it's a big difference because you're going between intervals of high and balanced, the actual defensive approach. But otherwise, you're not going to notice it as much. Maybe there's small finite things and maybe certain formations you want to go a bit lower, a bit more conservative, and I adjust those things. But when I'm making a tactic, if I know it's an attacking tactic, I want to be a bit defensive, I might go to, for example, to 31, and maybe I go up to like 40 if that, or 45 if that's a bit too deep. So a lot of people, they talk a lot of nonsense, if you're asking me. No one's going for the difference between one or two depth, but between plus plus and roll plus plus, yes, you will notice a difference. But is it as big as you think? I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. I did some testing at something that can be a right mid, right wing on inside forward roaming. If you put a right mid or right wing as inside forward roaming, you notice it a bit more. But I don't think like AI movement is drastic. There's no amazingly pure benefit that you get for a plus plus. I'm still using player locks and L1 triggers, and sometimes even if they got the correct roll plus plus, they run back or do something stupid anyway. So I would just say, look, just focus on the roll, okay? If you've got a CDM that's got a deep line playmaker plus plus, and we know holding is better, then leave them in holding in a normal role. Don't put them on playmaker, deep line playmaker plus plus, just because they got the plus plus for the sake of it. At the end of the day, as long as they've got the correct role, but make sure you choose the right focus yourself. Don't, as I said, don't force someone. So you say I've got two strikers here, they can play advanced forward. One of them's going to be a poacher, probably Sam Kerr. But anyway, thanks for watching, and of course, catch you next time. Peace.